Welcome to the firing range. Today we'll become acquainted with Mi-24P gun ports firing. First, while staying in the convenient active pose conditions, we will prepare all systems and armament for engagement, then proceed with the action. Press backspace to hide some obscuring control levers and obtain convenient access to the weapon control panel right in front of the pilot's knees. After that, switch on the gun sight. Now, look up to the ASP-17VB side. We should see a fixed, round-shaped side grid reticle and the movable crosshair marker. Adjust the side glass elevation. First, left-click on the adjustment stopper. Second, scroll the mouse wheel to obtain the desired elevation. Set lock adjuster by left-clicking on the stopper once more. Press spacebar to continue. Adjust the reticle intensity on the side glass. Locate the marker brightness knob on the right side of the sight and the grid brightness knob on the front side. The good idea is to reduce fixed grip intensity so it is barely visible and does not interfere with the moving crosshair marker. Press spacebar to continue. Look to the box on the side's left side. There are two switches. Leave sync and sync switch in the unsync position to engage stationary targets. Switch automan to auto position to obtain automatic ballistic calculations. Look at the weapon control panel. Set range insert to auto in order to get the distance computed. We will attack from a pilot's seat, but let's check if gunner cockpit switches are okay. Jump to the gunner seat pressing keyboard key 2. Switch on the group of safety switches fastened by a command bar on the left side of the cockpit. Notice that green light text armament circuits de-energized tones out. Allow air data signal distribution by switching CPLR distribution to up position. This will engage ballistic computation. Ensure that test AUPER switch to the right of CPLR distribution is set to AUPER. The heater enabler switch below should be on in a cold environment, +5 degrees and lower. So, done with the gunner. Let's go back to the pilot seat, pressing 1. Note that in a single player mission, you simply order Petrovich to arm the weapons by pressing Ctrl+W. And your virtual crew member does all the preparations himself. Let's select and prepare the weapons. Switch the fire control lever to on position. This switch is very important and acts similar to the master arm switch on the Western aircraft. Enable signal lights to show stores available. Just switch the aux stores light for that. It is located below the right instrument panel. Notice that 2 or 4 signal lights for the second and third hot points are lit at the bottom side of the weapon control panel. These are gun parts. Each gun part is equipped with 2 GSHG 7.62 and single YAG-B 12.7 machine guns with 1,700 and 750 rounds respectively. There are 3 available firing modes: 12.7mm firing only, 7.62mm firing only, both 12.7 and 7.62mm firing. Automatic deflection calculations depend on caliber chosen. During simultaneous firing using both calibers, the ballistic counts of the bigger caliber will be firing both, so set the weapon selector to FXD MG 7.62 plus 12.7 position. Okay, we've set all guns firing mode. The ripple quantity is selected by MG burst length reach. The middle position corresponds to long bursts, and the guns fire continuously while the trigger is depressed. Two recharge switches are responsible for the reloading for disactivation in the case of 12.7mm jamming. Press spacebar to continue. Look to the right ammo counter panel, located below the pilot's door arc. Red lights corresponds to the guns which are ready for action. Mechanic counters 1 and 5 show the rounds remaining for 7.62mm machine guns. We have a pair of each in every bot, but counter serves for only one of them. The counter decrements every 4 rounds, so multiply the number by 4. Press spacebar to continue. The second and fourth counter show the ammo remaining for 12.7mm guns. These counters decrement every 5 rounds, so multiply the numbers by 5. The middle counter is responsible for cannon rounds. It decrements every 2 rounds, so rely on a 2 as a multiplier for a cannon. Press spacebar to continue. Now, back to the ASP-17VP side. Currently active weapon type is shown with the bright amber FXD MG sign lit on the old-fashioned display board. The arc in the upright sector of the side's moving crosshair represents the range scale. Thin line corresponds to the distance from you to the place the piper points. The thick line corresponds to the effective firing zone of the selected weapon. When the right end of the thin line reaches the thick one, the yellow fire-ready lamp to the right of the side glass becomes lit. The maximum effective range for the machine guns is limited by 2,000 meters. Every tick on the thick portion of the arc corresponds to 250 meters. Press spacebar to proceed. The tiny triangle in the uppermost part of the moving marker indicates the current undesirable side slip of the helicopter. Compensate for any helicopter slip by the controls, thus to keep the triangle right on the vertical line of the moving marker. Press spacebar to proceed. Let's study the aiming procedure in auto mode. Maneuver the helicopter and place a fixed grid center on the target. The CCIP position will be calculated for current altitude, and the moving crosshair will show the actual impact point for the selected ammo, based on radio altitude, current pitch and air data. The actual position of moving crosshair is constantly updated according to the position your line of sight points to. When in range, gently and quickly steer the helicopter, thus to place moving crosshair upon the target. Press fire. If your steering takes no more than 1.5 seconds, you will be quite accurate. At least, you will be very close. Press spacebar to proceed. Remember 2 more 6. Aim the moving targets in sync mode, for the ballistic computer takes a proper lead. To obtain that, keep moving crosshair on the target for about 2-3 seconds. When the yellow light to the right of the side base goes off, stop the firing, turn away and take another run. If you are ready to take the controls, press spacebar and continue. Firing range is right ahead. Note the red smoke marker. Fly towards the targets and fire the guns by pressing the trigger or using right alt plus space. The best distance is 800 meters. Good luck!